Hello, viewers. Hello, viewers. Welcome to Uncut Africa Live, a channel that brings you great content coming from all corners of Africa. And, we are going to have a discussion. This particular discussion is very important to me, and it's really concerned about uh, African politics. African politics. I'm talking about African politics, and I'm talking about tribalism. Tribalism. When we talk of tribalism has had very serious effect on African politics, and it is really not helping much. So today, my question is, how can we eliminate tribalism from African politics? How can we eliminate tribalism from African politics? You understand, Africa as a whole has, each country, it has been divided into countries. Some say it was all about the colonial masters who put border in the middle of us. So Africa has been divided into 54 countries. And each countries you visit, you can see Africa. Each country has its own tribes. Every country has many tribes. I'm in Ghana, and we have more than 36 tribes. We have more than 36 tribes. And when you go to Kenya, I've been in Kenya before, and they also have a lot of tribes. Many tribes. So just saying, with all these tribes, it has had many effects on African politics. Many effects. This tribalism has had many effects on African politics, because what we do here is just when there is time for election, majority of Africans vote in the line of their tribes. Majority of Africans vote in the lines of their tribes, and most of us, we are all guilty. If you are an African, you are guilty, or you have fallen guilty before, because there are sometimes somebody will present a presidential candidate will present you a very innovative manifesto or great policies, but because of he's not from your tribe, so sometimes you go ahead and vote against him. And sometimes too, you can't blame, because my experience is, some time ago, some years back, I was, when I was about to start voting, when I got to 18 and I wanted to vote, I was listening to people with good policies, with good innovative ideas to vote for, but whilst the election campaign was approaching and people were doing all this campaign, some section of the other party, the party which I was looking into their policies and their manifesto, which the man was not from my tribe, and I was trying to check whether I can vote for him. some of his supporters started making derogatory comments or bad comments about my tribe. And I was not happy when I normally read people's message online and they are talking bad about your tribe, and it pushed me for me to vote against the man. So I'm also guilty about that part of discussion, because always something have to trigger somebody to vote against a certain presidential candidate. And because of this tribalism in African politics, it has really not helped African development. Because of tribalism, it has really not helped African development. So today my question is, how can we eliminate tribalism from African politics? How can we eliminate tribalism from African politics? Because it seems Africa has lagged behind when it comes to development, and the earlier we start addressing some issues, the better for us all, because if we are going to vote, we are always going to vote according to tribal lines, according to who is from my tribe and who is ruling the country. My tribe is ruling the country, and at the end of the day, the politicians are just playing around with this tribal politics, and they are really gaining, because at the end of the day, they are making themselves rich, and you who is doing so much fighting online or so much fighting for your tribe, you are not gaining anything. So the politicians has also realized that. So most of the times when they are campaigning, they go into tribal lines. They campaign into tribal lines, and it will somehow trigger another tribe, and they will either vote for them or they will either vote for you. So my question is, how are we going to fight against tribalism in African politics so that it will help everybody, or it will help the continent to develop? Because at the moment, things are not going well for African politics because of our tribalism. Because of our tribalism. So things are not really going well in African politics. Recently, I was following Nigeria politics, and I realized Nigeria politics is also, it has been rooted, like the root base of Nigerian politics is also tribalism, because you can hear, I don't know much about the tribes, but two tribes I normally hear them loud is the Igbos and the Yorubas. And I think the Igbo, the Yorubas, and the Hausa, but Hausa I don't think it's a tribe. I think it's a language they speak, but the northern part of Nigeria. So I realized one of their candidates who was having a very innovative manifesto and policies, who is Peter Obi, and the current government party, which is APC, which was being it was led by Tinubu, was, they won the election, but majority, when you come to online, we say online, Twitter or Facebook don't vote, but everybody was in support of Mr. Obi, who is Peter Obi. But at the end of the day, Tinubu won, and there was a whole lot of accusation about rigged election and all other things. But when you go into it, whether it was rigged or it was not rigged, there is a whole tribal play in the politics of Nigeria. There has been tribal play. I don't think an Igbo man has even ruled Nigeria before. Because of how they go about tribal politics there, it will be difficult. So sometimes even your tribesman don't even have the policy, don't even have the idea, don't have any extensive policies that he's coming to implement. But at the end of the day, you realize because of tribal politics, you have to vote for him, because at the end of the day, if you don't vote for him and the other tribes come to power, they are going to say they are now ruling you. That is the problem. They are going to say they are now ruling you, and that is going to make you angry, or is going to trigger you for you to vote against them next time. So tribal politics has played a big role in African politics. It has not helped the African countries to develop, because one thing I can say is, if you vote on tribal lines, it's hardly for you to have a sense of your own. It's hardly for you to have a sense of your own. You can't decide things on your own if you vote on tribal lines. Sometimes it's very good for you to have an independent mind or a neutral mind which can decide this is good or this is bad. Most of people wish they are independent mind, but sometimes you try to be independent mind and other tribes start making funny comments about your tribe, and it triggers you and you vote for different tribe. That is also one thing that is affecting the African politics. When you go to Kenya, you will experience the same thing. When you go to Kenya, it's against Kikuyus and the Luos and the Luyas. That is also one thing that is affecting Kenyan politics. It's also dipped in tribalism. I remember I was there to 2007. I was in Kenya, where a civil war broke, and it was a whole lot of massacre, killings. 2007 December, I was in Kenya. I was schooling in Kenya, and there was a whole massacre because of election, because of politics, and because of tribalism. There was this group called Mungiki, and there was another group which crashed, which I was told Mungikis are for the Kikuyus, and this. When we go to Rwanda too, 1995 genocide was also about tribalism. So tribalism has affected African politics for long. That's why I've brought it as it's a sensitive topic which people don't want to talk about it, because most of the times when you discuss tribalism, it brings a lot of emotions. When you try to talk about tribalism, it brings a lot of emotions. So people don't really talk about tribalism a lot, but this channel is trying to bring every content on this channel, and we are also trying to address issues affecting African countries, and I think tribalism is one of the issues which is really affecting African countries. I can tell you, tribalism plays more than 40% out of African politics. Tribalism, it plays more than 40% out of African politics, or African citizens' decisions when it comes to politics. Because tribes comes first before policies in Africa. Who is leading this party? Who is not leading this party? What's the background of this guy, or where does he come from? That is the first question you want to know before you start going through his policies. Before you start going through his manifesto. That is the issue in African politics. We take tribalism very strong because tribalism is very strong in our politics. Here you get it. I remember when I went to Kenya in 2006 and I was trying to mingle with most of the Kenyan citizens, and sometimes you befriend Kikuyu and he tells you don't try, since you have come to Kenya and you were new, don't take Luya or Luo as a friend because they are not very good to work with. Sometimes you meet Luo and he tells you Kikuyus are thieves, Kikuyus are that, Kikuyus are that. So it's not, I have gotten my own experience. The same thing is in Ghana. Ghana, when you meet an Ewe, you try to throw some shots to the Ashantis. When you meet an Ashanti, you try to throw some shots to the Ewes. So always NDC, as we know, is for the Ewes, and NPP, who is currently the ruling government, is for the Ashantis, and it's engraved on tribal lines. When we, after election and they start announcing results, you will see voter region standing up behind NDC, and you see NPP is being backed by Ashanti region. So tribalism is one place. So my question is, how can we eliminate tribalism from African politics? That's today's topic. How can we eliminate tribalism from African politics? You can leave your comment in the comment box and I will reply you, or you can also share your view as you want it, because this topic is very sensitive topic, and the better we address these issues, the better for the continent, because as we want to become one of the powerhouse when it comes to development, this tribalism issue is very important. And one thing that is also affecting African unity is tribalism plays a bigger role when it comes to African politics, the unity of the African unity. Tribalism plays a bigger part, because if we cannot even deal with, in just Ghana here, a small country like Ghana with just population over 35 million, if we can't even unite, ourselves, if Ghana cannot unite ourselves, how are we going to unite Africa? If an Ewe cannot unite with an Ashanti, if an Ashanti cannot unite with a Sisala, if Sisala cannot unite with Dagomba, how are we going to jump and unite with Nigeria? How are we going to jump and unite with Ivory Coast? How are we going to jump and unite with Kenya? And before there will be unity, there must be some kind of home unity first. If a Yoruba man cannot unite with an Igbo, how is he going to unite with an Ashanti? So unity plays a very big role in this united Africa we are trying to advocate. Unity plays a bigger role, because at the end of the day, without unity, you get it, there can never be development in Africa. That's the fact. We have to unite. Among ourselves, we can trade. With unity, we can trade among ourselves. But because of tribalism, things don't look good, because it plays huge role when it comes to unity among Africans. Ghanaians have to unite first. Nigerians have to unite first. We have to, because otherwise, let's say we are now United Africa, and we are doing an election. Everybody is going to also try to vote for it. It's the same eight tribesman, and that one is going to be more dangerous. I think the youth, our ancestors and the oldies couldn't do a lot much about this tribalism stuff, but I think the youth can lead the advocacy and talked about how we can work out this tribalism so that Africa can have a very strong force to fight all this unfavorable economic terms given to Africa. We have to be united, and before we can unite, tribalism will play a very big role. So the earlier we deal with it, the better. So my question today is how can we eliminate tribalism from African politics? You can share your thoughts in the comment box, and I will reply you later. Or if you can share it right now, I can also reply you later. It is really interesting, or it will be great for you to see a united Africa front. And if we are going to go that way, it's going to help us. If we are going to go that way, it's going to help us. It's going to help the African continent. It's going to help everybody involved, because Africa needs development, and without unity, it's going to be tough for African countries to develop. So we are going to address these issues affecting Africa one by one. So today I'm touching tribalism. I'll try to come online tomorrow and also touch another topic which I think it will help us, it will help us to develop, and it will help Africa to move forward. You can see on my banner I have wrote, "Let's make Africa great again." You can go and check my banner, "Let's make Africa great again." So I'm going to do my best to bring Africa on one platform for us to discuss many challenging issues that are facing Africa. Tribalism, we are all guilty. I'm guilty when it comes to tribalism. I'm guilty because I have taken many decisions on tribal lines, and for now, if you sit back, you think like that was not right. This guy was having the idea. This guy policy was making sense. This guy manifesto was making sense. So why did I voted for this guy who was having empty policies? All because he was my tribesman. You take such decisions, and I think you made a big mistake. And many Africans are guilty when it comes to this, because many of us take decisions on tribal lines, and it is affecting the development of Africa. Today is my first time doing live on my channel, So I think if you are having difficulties or any problem with me, forgive me because this is my first time doing live here, and as I'm trying to get used to this live stream stuff, I'll be bringing you more content on live. So I'll be start updating my community every time I'll do live. I'll do a flyer and put it on my community, and for you to know when I'll be coming online or when I'll be coming live. So I hope those who haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification button so that anytime I'll upload my content, you will be notified. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to leave your comments on this topic. How can we eliminate tribalism from African politics? Please share your view, and the next time I will come, I will read your comments and tell me which country you are commenting from so I can read your comments and let my viewers know what ideas you have also brought on board. So thanks for watching. I will be live again tomorrow at the same time. So please subscribe, turn on the notification, and you'll be notified when I come online. Thanks for watching.